All right. Good afternoon,
Yeah, we are
ladies.
live.
All right. Please, can you mute? All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Oluwasegun Oluwatosin, a Scrum Master at Octave Incorporation. This is another webinar we bring to you, and this webinar is to show you how to become a project manager and how you can actually start your journey as a project manager. And in our, basically, first of all, at Octave Incorporation, what do we stand for? Octave Incorporation is on a mission to advance digitalization in Nigeria and Africa at large. And we do that by training, mentorship, and internship opportunities for everyone, giving everyone the opportunity and the skill set to be problem solver and innovative thinkers. So today we have in our midst engineer Emmanuel Dayo Odefahan, who will be sharing more light for us on how to become a project manager. He is a project manager and he is into he has practiced project management over several years, and he's going to be sharing us what project management is all about, how we can start, what are the benefit, or how can you use project management in your field of in your field basically. And I'm going to be bringing him in now so that we can you can actually share us more into what we're having today. So Mr. Engineer Emmanuel, so you have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you, my brother. Thank you for bringing me in. Thank you, Octave Corporation, for this opportunity. Uh, I would like to say it's going to be a wonderful experience here, and I'm trusting that everybody will pick one or two things, possibly more than that, for their own learning and their capacity building. Um, I would like people to comment right now if you're in and you're ready for this class, just to comment that you're in, and then we kick off. Yeah, I can see Joshua Daniel says he's anticipating. Okay, that was an earlier message. Once you're in, just let us know you're in.
Yeah, some people just joined, so you might want to ask the question again.
All right. Um, Welcome once again, everybody. If you're just joining this, I welcome you to this class. It's supposed to be interactive, and I hope that you will do that. In as much as you cannot speak to me, I would want that you at least type in response. So if you're ready for us, I would just like to have you um, write in the chat box that you're ready. It's supposed to be very expository and uh, I don't know, moderator, is it possible for people to comment from the YouTube page?
Sure, it's very possible for people to comment on the YouTube. Very
All
possible
right,
as well too, because we are live, so you'll be able to comment.
all right. Thank you. I'm hoping to see comments. If you're ready, just say hi. If you're ready, and we kick off. Oh, all right, all right, all right. Okay, all right, Faith, I can see you. You said hi, you're ready. Yes, I can see you.
Yeah, I think we can proceed. Thank you.
All right. Okay, once again, welcome everybody. And the topic is going to be mastering the art of project management, a comprehensive guide to excelling in global business operation. For global business operation, it's either you are an employee or you're an employer, so irrespective, as we all shoot be to get to the apex of our career, um, we all look forward to being in the business, whether locally or globally, depending on how wide your dream is. So, just to go on, we just like to give the definition of project. A project is an activity that has a specific goal. So this is not supposed to be like a project management lecture, but I would just like to make this as an introduction that helps us to get into understanding how project management helps us to excelling in business. And afterwards, you definitely be recommended to doing some courses after you've seen the value this should offer to your business or to your career growth as the case may be. So global business operations, so project is a specific goal that has a specific set time and finish time. That's what a project is. So a project can be as simple as um, waking up to boil water. So the reason I'm boiling water is to make sure that I have water to make tea in the morning. The water should boil in 5 minutes, and I should be out of the house in 10 minutes after taking my tea. So the specific goal has been set, the specific time has been set. Then let us look at global business operations as it relates to projects. Global business operations often involves complex projects that requires effective project management. And this definitely includes planning, organizing, coordinating resources on a global scale to achieve specific goal. Successful project management in a global context requires understanding diverse cultures, time zones, regulatory environments. It's like where each component plays a crucial role in in the overall success of the project. So let's look at what project management is then. So project management is the strategic application of skills, tools, and techniques to successfully execute projects. It involves planning, organizing, and controlling resources to achieve specific goals. As we cited in the introduction, we're trying to make tea, and that is the goal at that point in time. I already have a time for it and everything. So the planning comes to being the organizing, the controlling of all of these resources. You see things like tools and techniques, you see skills. All of these things are supposed to be put together to make sure that the project of making your tea, the project of making egusi soup, or making amala, or building a house, or keeping your house clean, they are all part of um, they're all part of project management. And project management is the discipline, as I said, of planning and organizing and overseeing all aspects of projects from its initiation to completion. It involves defining project goals, specifying tasks, estimating the resources and timelines, and coordinating and directing the activities of a team to achieve the desired outcomes. So effective project management ensures that all of the projects all the projects are completed on time within the budget you have made, and you meet the specified objectives. So by the time you are done with the project, you are looking at it that okay, um, how what are the things that should have been ticked out? What are those things that should have been satisfied as regards the requirements for this project to say this project was a success. So that's what project is. So in the context of global business, typically it refers to the movement or assignment of, you your resources, training, getting your materials together, organizing, planning, and controlling. So if you are done a project management course, you would find out that we have projects in different phases. We have 5 phases for projects. We have the initiation, we have the planning, we have the execution, then we have the monitoring and controlling, we have the closure. And those are part of that, those are the phases of project management. So now there are some components to project management. In project management, you will find out that there are 3 main triangle that borders around project management, and that is costs, your resources, and your schedule. Cost, resources, and schedule. If you tamper with any of all of these things as planned, it affects the quality of your project. So, for example, if you are to make egusi soup, I don't know how many of us can hear, but I would just like us to, you know, answer this by typing. So, we want to make egusi soup. So, with palm oil. So, I have defined it. The scope is egusi soup with palm oil. That is the project now. That's our project. Egusi soup with palm oil, not with other things. So as a project manager, we are supposed to get resources, we are supposed to get the cost, we are supposed to get the quality of the soup we are supposed to make for the client, which I'm the client right now, and you are the project manager. So I have given you the project to do now. So what are those things that you put into consideration as a project manager? I would like us to comment that in the chat box. Yeah, Nimika, I know. Yeah, I've defined the scope. The scope is The scope is okay. Let me type it so for people that are just joining us. So we are currently talking about the key components of project management, and we are trying to make egusi soup. For those who don't know what egusi soup is melon soup. So we to use palm oil. So what are those things to consider to make this soup? The time it will take to make it. Thank you, Ayomide. So what I'm expecting. Yes, ingredients. Thank you. Ingredients. Nemeka, you're on track. Yes, vegetable, the spice, water. Joshua, yes, the prices of the ingredients. Yes, Utman, you're welcome. Faith, you're talking about the quality. So currently we are discussing the key components of the of project management. And our scope, what we are treating right now is a goosey soup using palm oil. So what are those things that you consider? So someone has mentioned the spices and ingredients you use. All right, not to waste our time. I just want you to know that this scope has a whole lot of questions to answer that many of us have not put into consideration. Now, some of you have thought about ingredients like vegetable, spice, water, the prices of the ingredients and everything. But then, do you know there are questions to ask about this scope? Whether I actually want vegetable in it, whether I want locust bean in it, what they call iru, whether I want maggi, whether I want momo, whether I want fish or stock fish or dry fish, palanko, whether I want shredded beef or chicken, whether I want it even beef soup or chicken soup. So you can see that the scope is ambiguous right now. So in the end, if I told you, go and make a egusi soup for me using palm oil, and you make every other thing except what I want, the project has failed. So for example, if you use fish, I may be allergic to fish. If you use vegetable, what type of vegetable? You can see that the project is now ambiguous. The scope is ambiguous and it is not well defined. So as a project manager, those are the questions you need to ask first. Those are the questions you need to ask before you just go about estimating. So let's assume that you have estimated the project to be at okay, oh, because someone said the cost of the price of this, and Joshua said the price of the ingredients. So if you have costed and you have done your costing, and then you say, oh, okay, um, everything is going to take is about 10,000 naira, and then there are some things I actually want in the soup, and you have not put into consideration. But because I just said egusi soup using palm oil, and then you just don't cost, and then by the time you bring the soup to me, I tell you that okay, where is this? Where is that? Where is this? Where is that? Where is this? You find out that the soup should actually have maybe if you had done your proper evaluation of the scope, it should have actually been rising, having a cost of about 50,000 naira. I'm just saying, we're talking about projects here. So what if I asked for a whale a whale soup, or I ask for a lion vegetable, what's it called, egusi soup, but you have done your costing for maybe beef and fish soup, and you have put vegetable and I don't want vegetable. You have put Maggi and I don't take Maggi. You have used what's it called? Dry pepper, and I want fresh pepper. So you can see that the moment you're having ambiguous scope, you run into trouble. I remember that we talked about the triangles of project management. You have your scope, you have your resources, and you have your schedule. If you tamper with any of those three, it will affect the quality of your project. So you can see now that the scope of this project has gone south. Definitely, if you are going to do timing, it's not going to make sense anymore. If you are going to cost, even when we have costed, it's still going to affect the quality of what we are going to do. So you can see that these components in PM book, they call it's called knowledge areas. So we have knowledge areas in project management, and each of these areas have their own management separately. So as they all have their own management, as they have their own management sector separate, it's important to note that all of this apply to your business, all of this apply to your day-to-day. So we can see we are not even talking about big projects like constructing a road. We're not talking about projects like building a house or building skyscraper or installing a machine or doing any major engineering or tech related activity. Now we're even talking about a domestic activity that has to do with you and I, something that we definitely will do almost every day of our lives, which is making food. So you can see that the scope, if it's not defined, it affects your timing, it affects your cost, it affects your quality, it affects the risk and communication. Now let's assume that the scope has been properly defined. As Nneka suggested, let us do redefinition of our scope to remove ambiguity. So I'm going to type our current scope, egusi soup with pumpkin leaf. So we have redefined our scope. As you can see in the comment section, we have redefined our scope. And since we have redefined our scope, how does this affect your cost? How does this affect your quality? I want us to reply. How does this affect your cost and quality? I'm waiting. The scope has been redefined. So we are trying to make our soup now. How does this affect your cost and quality? Or let's say before that, since this has been defined, what do you do to make sure that your quality is intact, your risk and communication are all on point. Yes, the quantity of ingredients. Thank you, Todo. Quantity of ingredients, the costing based on current price, quantity based on defined quality. Yes, yes. So we are having people that are getting to understand project management now. Yes. So many of them I don't even know that you have been handling projects so far. And that's why it's always good to build capacity. Many of you don't know you have been handling projects. Because this is supposed to be a 1 hour webinar, so I will just try to buy us more time by going through every other aspect that we need to discuss. So now that the scope has been defined, we know that, okay, I want this soup to be ready by 3 o'clock. That means everything you have to do by 3 o'clock, the soup has to be ready. Then the costing, then start to write, okay, ugu is this, ugu is this price, 5 naira, that's pumpkin leaf. Egusi is 10 naira, pepper is 100 naira, snail is 20 naira, peruku is 1,000 naira, palm oil is 5 naira, the spices you're going to use is 2 naira 50 kobo. All of those things, you write them out and then you give it to your clients, which is me in this case, which could be your parents, which could be your friends, or let's assume you run a cook business. So then you now say, okay, um, this is the cost of everything, and this is what is going to cost us. And the person now comes to you that, oh, why is it this high? Why is the cost of palm oil this high? Why is it this low? Why? And then you start to tell the person, oh, there's this quality, there's this quality, there's this quality. And for you to have great taste, because right now, the solution I'm supposed to give to you is your wonderful egusi soup with pumpkin. Then you now evaluate the quality of what you are supposed to buy to make sure that this project is a success. Then look at the risk involved. Today is Saturday. What is the probability that if you get to market, the woman that is selling vegetable will come and she will sell fresh vegetable? Look at it that, okay, what is the cost of transportation from your house to the market? How do you intend to? Yes, Fatima is saying specify the exact ingredients and quality and quantity, costs and time it will take to get ready. Fatima, you're right. I think Fatima is a professional already. So all of this, you see that it affects your quality, it affects your risk, it affects your communication. All of these things are the things that you plan as a project person. Let's even take it away from soup now. Let's take it to cleaning your house. Let's say your parents give you, let's say you are a lot more younger, and then your parent gives an instruction that by 10 o'clock, Emmanuel, you must make sure that you have cleaned this entire house. You as a person, your parent has gone out, they start to look at it, okay, they've given me this code and they are supposed to clean the house. Oh, where are the resources I need to get? I need the soap, I need to fetch water, I need to get my mop, I need to get broom, I need to dust the chairs, I need to remove cobwebs, I need to spray insecticide, air freshener, mop the living room with soap, and wash the restrooms, lay the beds, do the laundry and everything. You can see that you have done that's a project already. By the time your mom comes back by 10 o'clock and sees that everywhere is okay, of course your mom will be happy. As per what she has told you to do, you have done it. So if you look at all of this in a bigger context, which has to do with project management or in global businesses, you find out that we are not far-fetched from the things that we practice daily. In the global business landscape, global business landscape, project management must consider cultural diversity, time zones, and language barrier, adapting to these factors. If you look at the former slide we treated, you see communication there. Between your parents and yourself, you have communicated in the best way you could understand each other. By the time you get to the market and then you need to buy some ingredients, you might have to speak pidgin to the person that does not understand your language. So if I get to someone that speaks Yoruba now and I have to speak Igbo to the person for the person to understand, the moment I start to speak Igbo, I am no longer communicating because this person cannot even decipher what I am trying to purchase from him or her. And that's why you find that we have verbal and non-verbal communication, and that's where sign languages come to play. Oh, I want this, I want 4 pieces, and you see the person making sign for, you're pointing at what you want and all of that. So communication is important. But now, on a global business scale, you find out that in the context of global business, project management takes on additional layers of complexity. It is a lot more um, rigorous than just making soup or trying to clean your house. I just have to break that down to bring it home to you to be able to understand that, oh, this is how project management revolves around you daily, just that you might not be aware of how these things have been playing around your environment. And global projects involves teams, it involves stakeholders, it involves resources spread around different countries and time zones. So even if it is not within Nigeria, whether it's within Nigeria or without Nigeria, or um, whether it's different time zone or not, we're looking at global business now. Someone that you're a tech person, and then of course the person has created a work environment. It's possible that some people listening to us here are probably not even in the country, and we are co-located at this point in time. And that's why you find out that all of this affects must be considered in your project management. And that's why you see cultural diversity. The global project, it requires that you have an understanding and appreciation of different and diverse cultures. And that's why you see, okay, let's say for Igbos now, the Igbos don't prostrate to greet, Yorubas prostrate to greet, the Hausas, I think because they reflect or bow, some of them Scots to greet. So all of these things come to play in global project context now. So you have to look at it that, okay, how will I relate to this Chinese, to this English person, to this Polish person, to this German, to this French guy? What are those things that I'm going to do to him? And I'll feel like, okay, it's okay for me to do it. And the person takes it as an offense. So many of us, even in our chat, some of us don't even like someone typing K as per okay, and then you find out, oh, I don't like the way you responded to me, and they are like, I just meant okay. Then why didn't you just type okay? And then it becomes a bigger issue of the project in the end, and then you're not driving at your end goal. And effective communication becomes crucial as a team, as team members. We may have different cultural norms, communication styles, and expectations. Now to time zones, it's also possible that you have issues with time zones. Some people might be in the -2, some people might be in the +3 compared to your own time zone. Coordinating activities across different time zones requires careful planning. Project management managers, you have to, as a project manager, you have to schedule your meetings, allocate tasks, ensure continuous projects, and take into account the working hours of each team member in various locations. So you'll not be sending email at 2 a.m. in Nigeria and then it is 2 p.m. in wherever you are, and then you're expecting me to deliver. It starts to affect our communication and to bring about a lot of issues. And part of this also is resource allocation, and managing resources becomes more intricate when dealing with global teams. Managers must consider not only human resource but also technological and financial resources available in different locations. You in Nigeria, you might have good internet, and somewhere else they are struggling. Maybe in Niamey in Nigeria, and they're struggling with um, internet connection. The moment you're allocating some kind of resources to them, and then it is not aligning with the kind of resources they have, you are allocating some tasks to them, and it's not aligning with the resources they have, it becomes a challenge for the project to become successful. And it's part of like communication technology. In some countries, they might not even have access to the kind of technological software you have. There are some countries that, oh, if you are using some software, you can even pirate some of the softwares. You can even how they call it? They call it cracking. You can crack the software and they are using it. In some countries, if you try it, because the software, people actually invested money into it to make profit from it. So if you actually do that, it is a criminal offense, and then you could be arrested for that. So all of these things are the things you have to put into consideration. Like, okay, what is the cost of this in your country? Is it too expensive? If it's not so expensive, okay, that means I can allocate this tax to you. Remember that we are looking at project management at a global level, global perspective. And you can see that, as we mentioned, that the allocation of tasks per resources available, you can see that all of this is also part of risk. You can see that all of these are intertwined and you cannot leave one out of the other, because you're trying to make sure that everything entirely delivers the scope as requested by the client at once. And global projects um, it comes with a lot of risk because of different rules and regulations, different constitutions in different countries. Even in Nigeria, yeah, the rules in the north is different from the rules in the south, is different from the rules in the west. There are some things you cannot do in the west, there are some things you can do in the south, there are some things you cannot do in all these other countries. For those that are in the southeast, I remember that there was this what's it called? Sit at home order by the IPOB guys and ESN. I think it was Mondays and Thursdays. So imagine you're carrying out a project in that kind of place, and it has to do with physical. The team in that location, they have to deal with physical activities, and they have to go to site or maybe go to the work location Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they cannot go because of the work sit at home order. Then in the north, many of them on Fridays they have to go to the mosque because that is their day for prayers. So they go for their religious worship on Fridays. So now that you have to now look for how to balance all of this, because the guys that are supposed to be at work on Thursdays cannot make it to work on Thursdays. The guys that are supposed to be at work on Fridays in a different location, they also have to go for their religious worship. And of course, you cannot call it for Sunday because many people want to rest on Sunday, and there are also Christians that also want to have their own religious worship on Sundays. So you can see that all of these are part of risk. Remember, we are looking at this at a global project level. You see that this is now growing beyond the egusi soup you are trying to make in your house. And global projects come with additional risk, including geopolitical uncertainties, currency fluctuations, and international market dynamics. Effective risk management strategies are essential to mitigate these challenges. Strategic alignment. Aligning global projects with overall business strategy is crucial. Project managers must ensure that the project goals are in harmony with the company's global objectives, and the outcome of the project contributes to the organization's success. So most definitely, the project is not going to be far-fetched from what the company is trying to um, the company is trying to achieve in their mission and their vision, so to say. And that takes us to leadership in project management. As you said, the company that is giving you the project as your client, they have their own main goal. Let's say, for example, um, let's say Fatima runs a company that supplies uh, hair products and skincare routine products to for for women strictly, right? And she has called in Nemeka to run a project for her company, maybe to run a filling machine installation. Then the fact that the project is supposed to meet the business goal that Fatima has. And that's why leadership in global project management, it is effective project management requires strong leadership skills, including communication, motivation, and conflict resolution. A skilled leader can guide a project to success. I posted something on my LinkedIn, I think that was earlier this week, about conflict resolution and conflict redirection. So in conflict resolution, you are trying to solve the conflict between two people to make sure that okay, your team is moving forward. And for conflict redirection, you are trying to take the project, the conflict to suit the you are trying to make sure that the project is calm, that the conflict is calm to suit the project team's goal. So you are redirecting the conflict to just make sure that you achieve what you want to achieve. Whether the conflict is resolved or not, it's not your business. So as a leader in project management, you can see that it's a whole lot of work as a project manager, a whole lot of work. Basically, as a project manager, you are a solution provider. Nobody wants to listen to your excuses. Your clients are not paying you for excuses. Your followers want to listen to excuses because you have to motivate them. They need their money when they are due for payment. So in the end, you also find out that as a project manager, you are the one making sure that people are doing the job they are supposed to, they are being paid for to do. So even if you have little knowledge about it, you still must make sure that the person effectively carries out the task. So let's say, for example, now you are not a welder and you have a welder in your team. So how do you make sure that this welder is performing as he ought to in the project? That's why you see that leadership is another aspect of project management. In fact, project management on its own is even very broad. And that was why we started from domestic. Now we are going global, right? So if you are enjoying this class, you could just drop an emoji in the comment section. So I'm sure you are following before we continue. Yeah, Temiti, thank you. If you're enjoying the class, just drop an emoji. Thank you, James. Yeah, Joshua. Thank you, Ayomide. Thank you, Faith. All right, that being said, let's just continue to leadership and so right now I'll be telling you on how leadership is intertwined into project management. Note that this is not a project management course. This is you being a project manager and how it affects your delivery as a project manager. So how all of these activities in project management interfaces with your daily life, even into global projects. So, and this is how leadership is involved. First is vision and direction. A global project manager must provide a clear vision and direction for the team, aligning their efforts with the overall objectives of the organization. This clarity helps in overcoming geographical and cultural barriers. So you let everybody know. Miles Moreau said, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, right? So if I've told you to do something and you don't understand why we are doing it and how you should do it, it becomes a problem for you, it becomes a problem for me. Then we start to deal with conflicts on something that we could have avoided from the get-go. So that's why it's always important to define your mission and vision for a company, even as either as a project manager or as a CEO or as a business person. It's important that you define your vision and direction so everybody can see it and everybody understand that this is where we are driving to and this is where we are driving at. this is what we intend to achieve with these activities that we are doing. So when you see that, oh, this activity we are doing, if you see that it's not in line with the vision and projection for the company, you are able to also call us back to order that, oh, this is what we intended to do with this to achieve this. And now we are no longer achieving it because we are debating. Or is there something I need to understand that I don't understand? And then we start to go back to drawing board, we start to have meetings to make sure that, oh, all our efforts are channeled to making sure that we run this project as a success. Now, cultural competence as a leader, effective leaders in project management, in global project management must understand and appreciate cultural differences. They foster an inclusive environment that values diverse perspectives, promoting collaboration and minimizing understandings. For some of us that are the millennials and some of us are Gen Zs, most of these Gen Zs don't really care about some things that we as millennials or baby boomers or whatever they'll put into consideration. Little things as respect, as using proper salutations for communications in the workplace environment. I was sharing one day on my WhatsApp that many people actually don't know when to use please and when to use kindly in the workplace environment. And as a leader, you come into play by helping to define things like this. You have to teach your people in case you have issues like this so that you can have a common ground for execution of your project and for the success. So to just educate us, kindly is used for your downlines and those on your rank. Please is used for those that are superior to you. You don't send kindly to your superior, although you can use please for those that are also um, your downlines and also your horizontal rank mates. But then you don't use kindly for your superior. And communication skills as a project leader, strong communication skills are very essential. Leaders need to convey information clearly, facilitate effective discussions, and ensure that everyone on the global team is on the same page. And that's why you find that in some conferences, you see that they have translators, they have interpreters, and people that will let them know, oh, okay, this is what they're trying to say, this is what they mean. And as part of your responsibility as a leader, it's important that you address all language barriers using communication tools effectively. As a leader, you also must be able to adapt to different time zones and working styles and cultural norms. The flexibility in approach allows you as a leader to tailor your strategies to specific needs and challenges of the global project. Um, Also, as a leader, I was talking about conflict resolution earlier. And because of cultural misunderstanding and differences in work practice, it's important that you have to be able to step in to make sure that conflict resolution is properly done and you don't lose your team to things that could have been amicably resolved by just aligning with different people as regards their cultural preferences. Now to motivation and team building. I don't know how many of us have seen companies that organize team bonding activities and all of that. And part of motivation as a leader is creating a reward system where after maybe someone has done something really good, you or your team has done something good, you applaud them, you give them awards, you recognize them. All of those things are part of the team building activities. Some people even as far as take their teammates to beach or to game centers to play and see how they be able to coordinate themselves and all of that. So you're able to read the characters and the behaviors or behavioral patterns of your team members, and you're able to know that okay, this person still needs this person has a skill gap of team building. And that's where inspiring and motivating a geographically dispersed team is a leadership challenge. Leaders need to build a sense of trust and shared purpose among team members who may never meet face to face. So how do you do that as a leader in project management? Because you're dealing with people that are in virtual environment. For example, now we are here now, I can talk to you, but you cannot talk back to me. So how do I make sure that I build team? How do I make sure that, oh, okay, I'm carrying my people along? And that's why I said, okay, you know what? If you're okay with the class, you're enjoying the class, you drop an emoji. And some of us have dropped emoji. So that shows that, okay, some people are following the class and it makes sense. So then part of your job as a leader is also to manage risk. You have to identify, assess, mitigate risk, and it is critical part of management, utilizing your risk avoidance, transfer, mitigation, and acceptance strategies that can minimize. As a leader and as a project manager, you play a crucial role to identify those risks, assessing and risk mitigation. In fact, in some places, you find out that some of these activities, the project manager, after he has evaluated his own section, calls his team together. Guys, let us look at these risks together, because it's possible that there are some things that you as a project manager might not see and they will be able to see. Someone mentioned quality the other time, and you as a project manager, it is important if you want your client to always come back. I don't know how many of you have noticed, maybe in the course of your work or in the course, the reason you get more responsibilities or more work or more recognition is not because you have to market yourself, but because the job or the assignment that was given to you prior, you did it well, and the quality that was needed for that job was gotten. So we're like, no, we gave it to this person in the first instance, so why don't we just give it to this person again? Oh, Joshua was the one that made this project a success initially, and the quality of what he gave us was very awesome. So why don't we give it to him again? So at that point in time, you can see that, oh, you as a project manager, it's important that you maintain high standards of quality throughout the project. You must make sure that you prevent any form of defect. And you always know that it's cheaper to prevent than to correct. It's always cheaper to prevent than to correct. Also, stakeholder engagement. You have people that their interests, their participation into your project, they have impact on your project. They have they can put your project to success or to a failure. Stakeholders are people that their interests can positively or negatively impact your project. So as minute or as small as you might think gate men can be in a workplace, they are stakeholders. Imagine you get to a company and you are supposed to drop your CV for an or for your proposal for an organization, and you are being rude to the security guy. Imagine you now drop with that security guy, and that security guy decides not to submit your proposal. What happens? So even as a project manager, it is important that you engage your stakeholders. In project management, there's something we call power grid, power and interest grid. So this helps you to manage some kind of clients. There are some clients that they have so much power and they don't have influence. There are some clients that they have influence and they don't have so much power. So all of this you must be able to manage, you must be able to know the ones to monitor, how to communicate, how to the ones to collaborate with, the ones that can easily push your project into turmoil. For example, in the north now, the part of stakeholders you must factor into your project, they are Boko Haram. In the east, you must factor IPOB. Let's assume you are going there to do a petroleum project, a petroleum construction project, or you're supposed to run a pipeline project for them. You must factor IPOB into it. And so you must manage their expectation. You must include them in your plans. You must carry them along. Even in conflict resolution, you must be able to align all of these things. Also know that part of your stakeholders are regulatory bodies. For example, we're making reference to Fatima being a producer of skincare products. NAFDAC is part of our stakeholders. If she's in Lagos, LRS is part of our stakeholders. FIRS are part of our stakeholders. So you must be able to make sure that you satisfy these stakeholders as well. You must be able to make sure that you manage their interests and their expectations. Also, as a project manager, you have to be flexible and innovative. Look at what happened during COVID. You know, as many of us might be aware that there was a company called Skype. Imagine Skype actually like adapted or managed their situation very well. Zoom will probably not have overthrown them. If you look at what's it called now? Um, Twitter, X. Look at how Elon Musk is trying to make sure that okay, this thing remains relevant to everybody, so people can make money out of it. Mark Zuckerberg tried, and he could not. He tried to open trade and everything, and he saw that the competition was fierce. So in today's dynamic business environment, project managers must be adaptable and responsive to change. If you think you are the only person that who can do this job, trust me, there are 1,001 million self, if possible. They are available to take over that your project from you. So the competition is fierce. You must be able to innovate. You must be agile. Oh, this is where we are driving at. This is what is next. Oh, we cannot do it this way, and then we have to maneuver. Oh, my team, let us come together. We have to take a drastic measure and decision at this point in time. Also, as a project manager, we have codes and we have standards. Adhering to the best practices such as clear communication, effective risk management, and cultural sensitivity is essential for managing global projects successfully. Continuous improvement. Today's method might not be the best method for tomorrow's project. Remember, we talked about adaptability and change. You must embrace a culture of continuous improvement. There is always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. And that is where feedback comes to play. You look at your cultural adaptability, it must grow. You look at your technological optimization. Maybe you were using Zoom before, then you have to upgrade. Oh, what else can we use aside Zoom? How can we incorporate different virtual platforms into one? Oh, let us try StreamYard. Benchmarking across regions. You compare project performance across different regions. And this is a global perspective that helps you in implementing improvements that are proven successful in different cultural and regulatory contexts. Remember, we said that in some countries there are some things that are lawful to them, and in other countries it might not be lawful. So all of these things, you as a project manager, especially gunning for global performance, you must look at it. Risk management and evaluation, continuous improvement for that. You must be able to see, you must have foresight as a risk manager. Agile methodologies, adopting agile methodologies facilitates continuous improvement by emphasizing iterative development and flexibilities. This approach is particularly valuable in global contexts where the project requirements and conditions may evolve. Then, of course, your post-project evaluations, and that's why you always have things like customer completion survey, customer satisfaction survey, so that you can work on those things that you need to close out as a project manager. So you need to also, that's, as we said, stakeholders. You have to relate to them. Oh, how were we able to perform? How can we perform better? The soup I made yesterday, was the salt too much, or I needed to add more salt? What could I have done to make sure that subsequently this does not occur? Oh, maybe some accidents or some incidents happened in the course of the project. Some conflict that could have been prevented, it occurred. So how could we have prevented it or how can we prevent it for subsequent projects? And in conclusion, this presentation has provided a comprehensive guide to excelling in global business operations through mastering the art of project management. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I think you can drop now in the comment section. Mr. Shegun, over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much for that, Engineer Emmanuel. It was a very, very introductory no class, and I want us to understand that basically this webinar is more of like a tip of the iceberg, basically, because there are a lot of things you have to understand when it comes to project management, project, and it involves several things, basically. And that's why we actually organize this webinar to actually introduce a project management to those that will actually be signing up for the main training that will be coming up starting from next week, Saturday. And the training is a 1 month training. And basically, as well, to be putting them on internship, whereby you'll be grilled and you'll be held by hand by experienced project managers in different sectors. You get to know and how to manage projects effectively. And I want to ask if we have any question. Let's check. Okay, do we have any question or anything that you want to ask engineers before we actually know?
Yeah, just to add, to think I'm mute.
All right, all right.
I hope we enjoyed. I'm pretty sure we enjoyed. I'm pretty sure we enjoyed the webinar. It was quite beautiful. Okay, so just like Tosin had said, this webinar is still up to the preparation of our next training on PM project management, and it's not just going to be for one industry. It's going to be for several industries. As we all know, PM is used in various businesses, industries, and you want to know how you can become a particular talent as a project manager in a particular industry. And we have the best facilitators on ground, such as Engineer Dayo, who have just spoken with you, Tosin, yeah, and the other Chinon. So we're going to release more to your email, and we're starting next week Saturday. It's going to be in the morning, but we are going to work with your schedule. So we're going to have a first class, and we'll discuss how we can reiterate the timetable, and it will go on to next year January ending or so. And just like he said, we're going to put you into internships to apply these skills, and put it to good use. All right. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box, in the comment section, and engineer is going to answer you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, if you have questions, you could please ask. Please don't forget to subscribe to Octave Incorporation channel, YouTube channel. You can also check Octave Incorporations on LinkedIn. I have a lot of tech and career advancement programs, and good enough, relatively very cheap compared to other other facilities.
Okay, it seems that we don't actually have any question now. Um,
All right.
okay, it seems this is where we are going to be ending the webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and don't forget this is just a tip in the ask of the ask of a page, basically, and you're going to be learning a lot in the upcoming training. All right, thank you for your time. Thank you, Engineer Emmanuel, for this webinar. We really appreciate. So we are going to call it a day here. So all right, thank you.